Hi, girls. Good to see you. I hope you are having a good week and doing well. We are going to continue with Unit 9 today. As you know, or should have received an email saying that Zoom classes will start next week. So Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3:45 to 4:45. Okay, so we'll see you on Zoom next class. So we'll be able to actually have more conversation, which will be nice. Okay, so let's talk about future expressions or ways of talking about the future, but in the past. Huh? What? Okay. So I have some sentences here for you. Okay. So I'd like you to pause the video and try to complete the sentences. Now, they are all ways of talking about the future in the past. So take a moment, look at the sentences, and then we will talk about the answers. Okay? So pause the video now. All right. Have you completed the sentences? The answer should be yes. So let's go to 161 to help you and to correct. Okay. Now, some of these sentences I got from the back here, and some of them I've created. So the first one, okay. The answer is the lecture was starting. Okay, so we have the past continuous. Okay, we can use the past continuous if you look at activity or sentence 1, unit 9, future in the past. Okay, the lecture was starting in 15 minutes, so I didn't have time for lunch. The past continuous is used for future events when you're talking about a past perspective. In this case, didn't have time for lunch. Okay, you have another example. I was aiming to complete the report before I went on holiday. I went on holiday is the past perspective, okay? And you have again the past continuous. Okay. Number 2, we have I was going to call you, but I ran out of battery. Okay, we use going to and the infinitive, going to call, to talk about unfulfilled intentions in the past. So, did they call? No. Why not? They ran out of battery. Right. So it was an unfulfilled intention in the past. Okay. Would. So I've got a different example here. He would become one of the most successful singers in history. Okay, would is a way that we use, we talk about the future in the past. Okay, to refer to future events that did actually happen. So Justin Bieber, for example, would become one of the most successful singers in history, whether you like him or not. Personally, I still love Justin. Canada, represent. Okay. And we also use it to make predictions about the future. Okay. I knew there would be a lot of questions to be answered. Okay. It's a projection. Okay. About the future from a past perspective to be answered. Okay. 4. Was this, again, a different example? I was to have gone to Portugal, but then the roads were closed. All right. I actually wasn't planning on going to Portugal, but it works in the example. Okay. we use was or were about to refer to future events that did not actually happen. Okay? And here in this case, it is usually followed by the past participle. Okay? Was to have or was about to. Okay? Go. In this case, it is the past participle happen, opened. Okay? The company was to have opened 3 further shops by December. Okay? And the last one, or no. Oh, I didn't write this one out. Okay, well, that's all right. We also use was or were to refer to the future that did happen. In this case, it is usually followed by the infinitive. Adele was to become a best-selling artist by the age of 22. Okay? Adele was to become, or he would become. The sentence works as well, okay? You can use both as an answer. All right, so you have exercises for you from 1 to 6, okay? Use one word to complete the future in the past sentences. Okay, so take a moment and stop the video and we will correct. Okay, welcome back. So, number 1, we were aiming. Were. 2, no one predicted that our classmate Simon was. 3, the small restaurant business my grandfather started in the 1960s would become. 4, the government was to have eliminated. 5, they said the weather was going to get better. And 6, she knew he would be upset. Okay. Now, if you continue and look at activity 2 at the advanced features, okay, you have other ways of talking about the future and the past. Okay, so about to. We use was or were about to or were thinking of to describe future actions which were interrupted. So I was about to call you when you called me. I was thinking of calling you when you called me. Okay? Other ways to refer to unfulfilled intentions, events that did not happen, including was or were due to, was or were meant to, and was or were supposed to. So he was due to leave. He was meant to go or meant to leave. He was supposed to leave, okay? Things that did not happen. Okay, so continue again with the next exercise for practice. Rewrite the sentences using the word in bold and making any other necessary changes. So again, take a moment and complete the exercise. Okay, welcome back. So at number 1, I was about to go for a walk. 2, weren't you due to leave for Australia? 3, she was going to step out in front of. 4, the students were supposed to have received. Or supposed to receive. That's okay too. 5, according to the timetable, the train would leave. And 6, Kathy wasn't to know anything about the surprise. Okay, wasn't to know anything about the surprise. Okay, good. So let's go back to page 92 and complete activity 5. Okay, choose the correct alternative. Okay, so pause the video and we'll continue. Okay, the government was considering. 2, I was sure my mom was going to be angry. I never dreamt that I would win the lottery. We were hoping to get tickets, but they've all just sold out. The lesson would have been canceled, but too many students had already arrived. And 6, when I set off for work this morning, I had no idea it was going to take 3 hours to get there. Okay, so I believe this activity we cannot complete because it's a pair activity. Let me just have a quick look at the page because I've forgotten. Yes, so we'll skip that. And we'll go on to page 93, the speaking practice, right? The long turn. Okay, so look at the activities. What can you see? Right? There's someone playing cards. What game is it? Solitaire. The game is solitaire. Okay? Excuse me. And what about the second one? A cinema, right? A little boy looks like he's alone at the cinema. And in the third picture, what do you see? It's a little ambiguous, this one, isn't it? Looks like somebody reading the newspaper and having breakfast. Having breakfast. Okay. But what is the common denominator about all of this? Okay, if you look at number 1, how often, if ever, do you play a game, go to the cinema, or eat in a restaurant alone? That's the question. Okay, so how often do you do these things? Think about it. Next class, we'll talk about these questions so we can revise a little bit. Okay. I've done all of these things. Not many times, but I have done all of them. Okay. So we're going to listen to activity 2. You're going to listen to an examiner giving candidates instructions about the pictures. What does he ask the first candidate to do? Okay. All right, so let me find the audio. I have to record it with my phone all the time because it's difficult to hear with the computer. So here we go.
9. Speaking focus. Activity 2. In this part of the test, I'm going to give each of you 3 pictures. I'd like you to talk about 2 of them on your own for about a minute, and also to answer a question briefly about your partner's pictures. It's your turn first. Here are your pictures. They show people doing things on their own. I'd like you to compare 2 of the pictures and say why people might be doing these things on their own and what reactions they might get from other people.
Okay, so what is the job of the candidate? What do they have to do? Yeah, they have to talk about why these people are doing these things on their own and reactions, right? What will people think if they see this happening? Okay. All right, so what I'd like you to think about is in activity 3, all right, take turns to choose 2 of these pictures and follow the examiner's instructions. So I'd like you to choose 2 of these pictures, and I'd actually like you to write them down, okay? and say why they might be doing these things and what reactions would other people have if they see them. Okay. Then let's continue with number 4. Listen to a candidate talking about 2 of the pictures. Does she compare the same pictures as you? And does she follow the examiner's instructions? Okay, let's get this one now. Here we go.
Unit 9, Speaking Focus, Activities 4 and 5. Both these photographs show people doing things alone that we often do with others. Apart from that similarity, they are in some ways rather different from one another. In the first picture, there is a young boy by himself watching a film in a cinema. He seems completely engrossed in whatever it is he's watching and perfectly happy to be there without anyone else. What's more, he's got a huge container of popcorn all to himself. In the second picture, a man is having a solitary meal in a restaurant. And although he too seems quite engrossed in what he's doing, I have the impression that he's reading a magazine because he's feeling a bit self-conscious about being a lone diner. A woman on her own in a restaurant might attract a bit of attention, but a man on his own, on the other hand, probably wouldn't attract very much attention at all. It depends on the kind of restaurant, of course. In a fast food restaurant, people probably wouldn't even notice whether people dining were unaccompanied or with friends. Even if they did, I don't think they would think anything of it.
Okay, so does she do what the examiner asks? Yes, she does. And does she compare the same photos that you did? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, now I want you to listen again and complete the sentences with words and expressions which have a similar meaning on their own. Okay, on their own. Okay, so instead of rewinding it, listen again from here.
Unit 9, Speaking Focus, Activities 4 and 5. Both these photographs show people doing things alone that we often do with others. Apart from that similarity, they are in some ways rather different from one another. In the first picture, there is a young boy by himself watching a film in a cinema. He seems completely engrossed in whatever it is he's watching and perfectly happy to be there without anyone else. What's more, he's got a huge container of popcorn all to himself. In the second picture, a man is having a solitary meal in a restaurant. And although he too seems quite engrossed in what he's doing, I have the impression that he's reading a magazine because he's feeling a bit self-conscious about being a lone diner. A woman on her own in a restaurant might attract a bit of attention, but a man on his own, on the other hand, probably wouldn't attract very much attention at all. It depends on the kind of restaurant, of course. In a fast food restaurant, people probably wouldn't even notice whether people dining were unaccompanied or with friends. Even if they did, I don't think they would think anything of it.
Okay, so, number 1. There is a boy with his name alone, yeah, watching a film in the cinema. Whatever he is watching and perfectly happy to be there by himself. Hold on a second. I've got the wrong answers here. Hold on a second. Let me pause. I need to find the audio. Just a second. So, number 1, there is a young boy by himself. Whatever he is watching and perfectly happy to be there without anyone else. He's got a huge container of popcorn all to himself. 4, in the second picture, a man is having a solitary, or in the third, okay, she's comparing the second picture, a solitary meal in a restaurant. Excuse me. He's feeling a bit self-conscious about being a lone diner. So, alone, the same spelling as alone together, okay? Alone, an individual, okay? And 6, in a fast food restaurant, people probably wouldn't even notice whether people dining were unaccompanied or with friends, okay? Unaccompanied or with friends. Okay, so I think we'll leave that for today. And as I said, next class we will start Zoom classes and we will do some more of the speaking activities together. Okay, so have a very nice weekend, girls, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.